This is Lindsay Strickland, who was Lindsay Walden when this happened. She was our client. She lost her son in this collision.
Did you have any idea where the gas tank was on the 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee?
Yes, sir.
Had you had any warnings from Chrysler that the gas tank was at the rear?
No.
Had you heard any warning from Chrysler that gas tanks at the rear of those Jeep Grand Cherokees were dangerous?
Yes, sir.
And if the Jeep Grand Cherokee was hitting the rear, it could explode in flames.
Yes, sir.
You know anything about that?
No, sir.
If you'd known that, would you let me ride the car?
Objection, Your Honor. That's sustained.
I don't sustain objection.
Do you wish you'd known that?
Same objection.
She can have that.
Absolutely.
Do you wish you had, do you wish that Chrysler had warned you as the mother of Remington Walden about what Chrysler knew about the dangers?
Same objection, Your Honor.
I'll overrule.
Asked it, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I can do that with
Yeah,
Can you read it back? I don't want to take a risk and get another objection.
You wish you had that. You wish that Chrysler had warned you as the mother of Remington Walden about what Chrysler knew about the danger.
yes.
Did Chrysler give you any warning?
No, sir.
Did you have any reason to know that Jeep was dangerous?
No, sir.
What do you do to remember Remington?
Well, I don't really need any remembering some of them. He's with me all the time, but you've heard he likes the beach all the time, so we go to the beach. And I sit. In my chair at the end of the water, and I feel close to him, so that's what I do.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
So Dad's caught off camera because it's hard for he and I to listen to. Because we know her. Panelists, what can y'all tell us about putting on your client in a tragic case?
It's really a delicate line for when you have a client who you know is going to cry, you know that there's going to be emotion, but they need to be able to talk about their child in the case of something like this where there's been a loss. The real difficulty is if somebody is so consumed with grief that they can't talk about their lost loved one, then it's really hard for the jurors to get the sense of who that person was. And I think bringing the child to life, bringing the lost loved one to life, they're the ones you have to really work with your clients to make sure that they understand that they're the only ones who can really convey to a jury who this person was. So they have to be able to talk about them. And she seemed open and warm and appropriately sad, but also you could sense in just, that little bit, I'm sure there was more, that this was a grievous loss to her and her husband, but it's really delicate.
Yes, this is something I learned 38 years ago in a med mal case I tried, and I've done it ever since. I will tell a client well in advance of trial that I'm going to ask you at the end of my direct examination, I'm going to ask you this question or these two questions. And I don't want you to tell me or anybody else how you're going to answer them. And I want you to think about it. And that's what we did there. I didn't have any idea what Lindsay was going to say. Because you don't want to, if you rehearse it, then the chances of the answer from a lay witness coming off rehearsed are very high. The first time I did that was in a quadriplegic medical malpractice case. And I told my client, Robert Rivas, that I'm going to ask him, the last two questions are, do you want to live and why? And don't tell me the answers. Don't discuss it with anybody. So I asked him those two questions. He said, yes, I do. I said, why? He said, because I've got a 3-year-old daughter that I want to watch graduate from high school. I get choked up and marry and have children. I said, thank you, Mr. Rivas, and sat down. You could have heard a pin drop. Anyway, that's a useful technique.